call the meeting to order for Thursday, February 6th. Roll call, please.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Spence?
Here.
Dr. Ross?
Here.
Administrator?
Present.
Mayor?
Here.
Solicitor?
Present.
Fiscal officers present. Mrs. Dameron?
Here.
Mr. Maturin?
Here.
And Mr. Merriman?
Here.
Thank you. Everyone stand for a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance.
I'll get one.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You need one?
Yeah.
Council, you have your minutes before you from our last meeting of January 16. Motion be in order to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Persons appearing before council will go with those who called in and contacted us first. Mr. Littlejohn Sr.
Thank you, sir. Mayor.
Welcome.
I'd like to introduce myself for those who never met me. My name is Edward Littlejohn. I'm a resident of Jefferson County all my life. And I'm just proud to be a candidate for county commissioner. And I'm excited, I'm motivated. And the thing about me, if you never met me before, I'm gonna tell you, I'm an honest person, I'm consistent. I've been here all my life. I was one of the few people that could figure out a way how you can make it in our diving economy. And my goal is to build the economy back up, get people back to work. I think one of the saddest things in the world is where we have all of these smart children, we all have them, they have to leave here. And they gotta go somewhere else to get a job because we don't have anything here. So I think we need to figure out a way how we can make this county grow. And grow with confidence, and grow with discipline. And I'm a believer in developing a yes I can attitude. No matter what it is, we can do it, but we gotta believe that we can do it. And I'm consistent. Been in Wintersville for 30 plus years in my business. Not somebody else's business, in my business. I've been here consistently, trying to figure out a way to create opportunities for people. I have other businesses throughout the county. I've been consistently here doing the right thing. My wife was a school teacher. Steubenville City Schools, 32 plus years, consistent. Other thing that I think is very important is we have to build the perception of this area. We have a negative perception, and I'm not talking about just one part, it's the whole county. We gotta build the whole county perception. We have a lot of great things here, but we gotta get the world to know about us. And I'm a believer, if Weirton can do it, why can't we do it? If they can, we can, and we gotta get to work on that. So I'm asking you for your vote in March the 17th for honest, hardworking, sincere person that will put the citizens of this county first. I don't need the job to give my friends a job. I don't need the job for my children to get a job. They already got a job. They already have careers. They already have opportunities. So I'm in there for the people. And the people will always be first. The people. And that's it. If you know me, you already know I'm about a person about progress. So a vote for Littlejohn is a vote for the county moving forward in progress. No funny stuff, progress. That's what it's all about. And I've always been about progress, trying to help people grow. I worked with the juveniles for 28 to 30 years, working with, up and down. We used to run up and down Wintersville. And before they had the county thing, we were at my karate school, we would run up and down. And it was all about developing that attitude so they could win, so they didn't have to get stuck here. So I didn't just decide that. People said, why did you want to run? I've been wanting to run 20 some years ago. Maybe more, I talked about it, but I just didn't do it. Maybe my life was going on, maybe confidence wasn't there, maybe I wasn't ready. And when I found out that Mr. Jenkintown was not running, I said it was a great opportunity to get in there and fight. And I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun. I've met a lot of people, I've been parts of the county I've never been in. And it's been challenging, it's a lot of fun. So like I said, I appreciate a vote for Littlejohn is a vote for the county moving forward. Progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Good luck.
Again, we appreciate you, your business, your family has been an asset to this village, and we very much appreciate what you've done with the youth. I mean, it doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Someone else? Anyone else? Mr. Morelli.
Am I next?
We'll take Mr. Morelli.
You're on deck.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for letting me speak. My name's Tony Morelli. I, too, like Mr. Littlejohn, lifelong resident of Jefferson County. My roots go clear back to my grandfather in the 1930s in the coal business, and I grew up with a hardworking father and family, and they've been active in Jefferson County for many, many years. I too had thought about running many times. Actually, I pulled petitions 3 years ago. But I'll tell you what, I attend a lot of commissioner meetings. I think I've missed one so far this year, and I firmly believe that I didn't have the time working a full-time job or owning a lot of other businesses to be a full-time commissioner, and that's what I'm running on. It's going to be my job. I'm up every day. I have been, and I'll continue to. Mr. Littlejohn mentioned about the youth staying here. It's funny. You can check my Facebook page, which I'm getting highly educated on. But I just posted that a picture of a young daughter of a friend that hopefully we can. It's easy to say we want economic development. Everybody says that. How are we going to do it? Weirton was mentioned. Mr. Mattern knows I was very active. One of my best friends is Pat Ford. I talked to him this week. I watched what Pat did with the Business Development Corporation in Weirton. As a matter of fact, when he came to our first meeting and Mr. Mattern was there, we said if he can do 25% of what he says he's going to do, we'll be happy. And you can see what's happened over there. I'm not satisfied with driving outside of our county and seeing, yeah, there's people in Jefferson County making a lot of money off of gas and oil, royalties, so forth. But where's the bricks and mortar? And I'm spent my whole life in business, and a lot of it was in sales. And I never had a customer come to me and say they wanted to buy from me. I want to work with the Port Authority. I want to work with the village of Wintersville. I think you people are a key to the whole county. This is where I'm from, Wintersville. Grew up here. I think that this is a great model of what can be done. I think you're doing a fantastic job. I know there's other plans in the works. I want to, and maybe I'm misreading this wrong. I want the county, when I'm elected commissioner, I want the county to work closer with the village of Wintersville, with all of them, with all the different communities. So I don't have anything prepared. I'm not a politician. I've got a lot of business experience. But I'll just say this again. The main reason I haven't run in the past, and I sit on some boards. If you don't know, I sit on the Housing Authority board. It was a nightmare a few years ago. We were on the front pages every day. We've got that place turned around. I'm certainly not going to take all the direction, but we had to make some tough choices down there. I like to give back, and I feel that now that I have no other job, I have a small retail commercial building that my wife and I lease out. I'm not working, so I have the time to be a full-time commissioner. And I'm not just going to say economic development. I have some ideas that I'll be presenting a little later as the campaign moves on. But I would as was said, I would appreciate a vote for me. So thanks again for having me, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
We thank you. The family, the Morelli family's been historically a part of Wintersville for many, many years, longer than I've been alive. So again, we wish you well and good luck. My pleasure tonight, and I didn't know they were coming tonight, but to welcome the Steubenville Administrator, Mr. Mavromatis, and Mayor Barilla. If you want to come forward, if you'd like.
Thank you very much, Mayor. It's my pleasure for being here. I apologize only for one thing. It's taken me 4 years to come to your council. But as you know, what we deal with in Steubenville day in and day out. But I've always looked at this as a sister city and as a partnership. So again, as our times get a little more difficult, I can foresee us all working together to accomplish these goals for all the citizens in the area. But it's my pleasure to be here, and thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for coming. And again, just comments that were said here, by both candidates. I have always said, historically, if you go back, this is about a region. It's not about me. It's not about Wintersville. It's not about individuals. It's about a region working together in cooperation and moving and striving forward so the whole region is better. And that's really what we here try to focus on. And I know we're always available to assist Steubenville where we can. And Steubenville's put out a hand for us as well. We can go back and talk about historical things where we had our differences, but that does no good for this region. It does no good for our youth. It does no good to move this area forward. Again, we all have suggestions and ideas, and Weirton is prospering, which is great. I think their prospering helps us too, because it still brings people across the river, and also gives our residents something to do locally instead of driving 30 miles away to either Robinson or St. Clairsville. It'd be great for this region to have that, and I think again, working together in a positive light as a team, all of us from every village, city, and the commissioner's office working together. And I think, we strive to do that as best we can. There are always going to be disagreements and differences. That's part of life. But the bottom line is, we try to work those out together. We don't need public involvement, in harassment and going after each other, because that does nothing, but just turns everybody away. And I think, unfortunately, when you can Google and Facebook and all this other things that are out there are very, very negative, and unfortunately, it's not really the true vision of this region. And so, again, I'd like to work with anybody. I work with the commissioners, Steubenville, anybody, to work and move this village and this region forward. We know we can't do it alone. We're in this together. So again, I appreciate you coming here. Anything you need, we're here for you. Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Mayor want to speak?
Well, it's a pleasure being here. I'm really impressed with your chambers. I think this is one of the most homey atmospheres that I've experienced, and I wish we could do this in Steubenville. But I also want to say to you that Wintersville has actually perpetuated my life, because we own property along Main Street where McDonald's, the original McDonald's was, and of course Arby's and O'Reilly's. My father had the vision to purchase that land way back, and so we actually survived with the help of rent off of those institutions throughout the years. So I have a special place in my heart for Wintersville, Ohio, because it was a very part of who we are and how we grew up, and our economic development for our family. So thank you, and again, you guys ought to come down and visit us.
We will. Again, while you're there.
I've been there.
You bring this up, and again, I'm glad you did. Because we talk about, and I get a lot of times, and you as well, why don't you bring a business here? Why isn't a business in this building? Why isn't a business in that building? Why is it vacant? And again, anybody that asks, I always give you, accolations, because a lot of the problem here is people want too much for their property. And all they're looking at is gain and value and riches for themselves. And you actually did a very good job. You could have asked for a lot more money. That old McDonald's building could still be standing there,
yes.
And it is not. I mean, it's people like you that say, listen, I would rather see development and things come here as opposed to sitting there being vacant, so I'll take less money. So again, our hat's out to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Remind you.
That's all right. We got another meeting up tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Council. Mr. Spence asked me to come tonight to explain something. I'm following these two guys around because I was at their meeting Tuesday night. And Randy just asked me to come and explain what's going on with the ambulance service, since there's been a lot of controversy and a lot of news media about it lately. So I thought I'd give you kind of a heads up what's going on. All of the fire departments and all the EMS agencies in the county, and even across state boundaries, provide mutual aid to each other. So, we can have calls that basically outstrip our resources just like anybody else can. So we've had a pretty long-standing relationship with Steubenville Ambulance Service. Unfortunately, starting probably in September of last year, it became a lot more of a problem as far as us responding there and just the sheer numbers. So, to go there once a day or twice a day over a 24-hour period, really not a big deal. We have, during the day from 7 a to 7 p, we have 3 crews on. So we have 3 ambulance, 3 crews available, which is usually more than enough to handle what we do. And then at 7 p.m. we go to 2 crews. So what's happened really since September is that the frequency at which they've been calling us has been going up and up and up. Their reasons and their problems there are their own. I know that they went to council a few weeks ago. They do have staffing issues with being able to get enough people, and they're a private company. So they, whereas if we go all day and don't have a call, we're still tax based. So the citizens of our village, as well as the citizens of Cross Creek and Island Creek Township, are paying tax money to support us, whether we're generating any money or not. So we're a subsidized EMS system, really. And when you have a private system, it's normally not subsidized. The one there is not subsidized. So the city of Steubenville doesn't pay ambulance service to provide service. Ambulance service survives in that business based on what they're able to bill, what they're able to collect. So they've got some issues with that. I mean, they do a lot of other work. They do a lot of non-emergency transports, and they do other things besides that. So what's happened is, because of all the internal issues going on there, they've called on us more and more and more. We've had some conversations. I know the city's had some conversations with them. Jim, probably going at least a year, right? 9 months. Okay, so they've been talking about this. They're aware of the problem, and so we talked to some people on Monday about it, and there was some ideas thrown around, and there's some there's obviously the opportunity for us to work together, whether it be with the city or some co-op program that they might develop or whatever, to try to solve this problem. But the reality of it is, from 7 p.m. Monday to 7 p.m. Tuesday, there were 14 calls in the city that were rolled over to some other agency, and 9 of them were by us. So my crews ran 11 or 12 calls in our own area, and then we ran 9 in the city. And again, the reason I went to council, even though I had already talked to, again, a number of representatives of the city at individual times, was to basically just say, this is unsustainable. I mean, because again, our obligation is to your citizens as well as the township citizens. And so, it was just kind of to light a fire under everybody and say, look, I know that you know about this, but you've got to get up tomorrow morning and try to solve it. And so when I talked to Randy, I said, I'm actually, as of yesterday, really pleased with what effect that had, because and I hope you'll agree, there's been some movement already. So there's been some discussions already. I'm sure there'll be some more discussions in the next couple of days about different solutions to that. But the city is now, everybody in the city council and everybody in the administration is now completely aware of the problem. And I think I'm correct in saying, Jim, that they understand it now. I think more, or at least better than they did, right?
Yeah, far better.
Yeah. But so if you saw it on TV or if you read it in the paper, and 2 weeks ago and then again this week, and you're probably thinking, well, why are we in the middle of that? Well, because we're next door, and we're staffed. So for them to call a volunteer agency from some other department that may or may not respond, they've been falling back on us quite a bit. And so I've talked to really all the players. I met with ambulance service today. They had some questions, and we had some discussion about it. But I'm just basically here at Randy's request, and I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to bring you all up to speed on this. But we're at no time do we not withhold resources to cover our own areas. So if we have 3 trucks out, we don't send all 3 of them out on mutual aid calls. We always try to hold a truck back. Now, if we get multiple calls, then we're going to rely on somebody else, whether it be Richmond, Belvedere, or whoever else. But there's a lot of give and take in that business. It's 90% of our activity. So of our approximate 3,000 calls a year, 90% of it is in EMS, actually a little bit more than 90%. So it is really what we do. And the people that say to me every day, all I see is your trucks going back and forth. Well, the hospital's that way too. So every time you see me on Sunset Boulevard or see us on Sunset Boulevard, we're not necessarily going to the city. But there obviously has been a pretty major buzz about this since about September. And I think, the other night was just kind of a culmination of that. And again, I'm happy with the fact that we're seeing things happen. It's not going to get solved by tomorrow, but the fact that there's a whole bunch of really capable, smart people working on it, hopefully something will come out in the next couple of weeks.
So what are they looking at, about 6 months to try and solve this?
Well, it depends. I mean, there's going to be, you know, a couple different ideas proposed to the city, and it'll be up to the city to decide what they want to do. If the city would go a co-op program with ambulance service, like they do in East Liverpool, where they have a paramedic from the fire department and an EMT from the private company on an ambulance that's owned by the private company, and they do the billing and all that. If they do that, that would probably be, you know, could be relatively soon, you know, maybe 60 days or something like that. I'm just guessing, but that seems reasonable. And then if the fire department does it themselves, again, you know, might be 60, maybe 90 days, but it's very doable. They have people in the fire department down there that are experienced. They've worked in EMS. They're very knowledgeable about it. The fire chief really doesn't have a background in EMS, but he's a leader and he's a manager. So he's learning quick. I mean, he met with me on Monday, and you know, he doesn't know all the terminology and he doesn't know all the particulars about billing and things like that. But it's nothing he can't learn. So again, you know, is the solution Monday? No. But my thing in coming to you is, I think they'll have a direction here, in I would think within a week or two. And once they have a direction, then we'll all work together to try to make that happen.
I was just getting a lot of calls from residents saying, hey, how come I'm seeing Wintersville Fire Department downtown Steubenville 3 days in a row? And then they're worried about, hey, if I call them, is there going to be, you know, something left to take me to the hospital?
Yeah, we've had a policy since we passed it. When we formed the fire district, passed the levy. If you remember, I came down and talked to all of you, actually several times, about the fact that we were going to staff 24 hours. And so when we started to staff, that's the very first thing we decided. It was like, well, we're not going to strip ourselves, you know, for our own community. So we've always held back a crew, you know, because of that. That's kind of the problem down there, is because it's a private agency. You know, for them to have a crew sitting on a park bench waiting for a call, that's not a great business model as far as making money, and it's a for-profit business. So that's the difference between subsidized services and non-subsidized. So they're not subsidized, as we are, and actually almost everybody else in the county is subsidized in EMS. Just to give you an idea, 85 to 90% of the country is subsidized EMS. It's mostly fire-based. So what we do is very common. What goes on there as far as having a private company without a contract and without a subsidy is rare. So and it's problematic. It's, you know, and that's how we got to where we're at right now.
Well, I appreciate you explaining it to everybody. I could have never done that.
Mayor, any question?
I've gotten no calls. I mean, to be frank. My concern is this needs to be resolved, but I don't think this needs to be a huge public thing that, you know, we get in the public and we sit here and fight this out and whatever. I just think it should be handled differently. I think we should work together. I think Steubenville understands what the problem is. I mean, obviously it's problematic. Anybody that's had to use that service, which unfortunately my wife had to, I understand the service. I understand some of the pitfalls. You know, but the bottom line is, you are autonomous from this village. We have nothing to do with you. We would not. It's not our position to tell you what to do. It's not our position to tell you how to run that department. We do have 2 representatives on the 7 range districts that if we have questions or issues, we can bring to them, and that's where we should be going. We have those concerns. Again, you guys do a heck of a job, and it's no different than our police department. You know, we have reciprocity there as well, and the chief does a very good job of working with Steubenville. Steubenville the same. You'll see Steubenville police officers in Wintersville. I just think it's a matter we need to work together. I don't think we should be making huge headlines over this. I think it's a problem that can be solved, and I think people know that there's an issue. I just think the more that we sit here and try to point fingers or whatever, I just want to be concerned, you know, that we need to just work together. And I think Steubenville understands that. I appreciate you coming forward. You know, but the number one thing is, and I believe you would admit to this because I know you as a person, you would never ever put this city, this village, or Cross Creek, or anybody in 7 Range District in jeopardy by having an ambulance in Steubenville. You would never do that. So, you know, I get it, I understand it, you know, but the residents of this community are safe and protected. And we've got that from, you know, them approving levies. We got that from this council going out and saying, go ahead, create the 7 ranges, because it's only best for everybody in this region. So if there's things you can help Steubenville, by all means, we should be doing it, in my opinion. But again, you run that department, and that's totally under you. And, and again, we appreciate what you do. I don't want it. I wouldn't want to do it. Maybe Steubenville's going to figure out, you know what, they don't want to do it either. There's a different way. I don't know, but we're not here to give Steubenville answers. We're not here to give you answers, We just want to make sure that service is not hindered in this community, and I haven't seen that or heard that.
Okay, I appreciate that. I think these two gentlemen know that, between our meetings and the comments and things like that, they know that, our pledge of our department is to help them get this resolved.
I'm not doubting that, and I know that, and I know they all believe that, intentions are well in what we're trying to do and accomplish and assist and help. But unfortunately, some people out there, they just take it the wrong way. The media reports it sometimes incorrectly, and it just makes both of us look bad, when really that's really not what the intention is.
Right. Yeah, it's a confusing issue, too. Anybody else? All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Mr. Lockhart.
You're on the clock tonight, 3 minutes, they took up your time.
Thank you, Mayor, but I'm going to hold my meeting as far as BHA last meeting till next meeting, and that way you can get the business of council done tonight, okay? I've already talked to Walt about some things.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Chief Fowler.
Oh, my God, somebody coming up tonight.
Good evening. I have Officer Euler brought back in front of you. He has passed his 6-month probation and brought back in front of you for final approval.
Time flies. Unbelievable. Again, as we always discuss, we brought Officer Euler on 6 months ago, but it's up to council now after he's been through his 6-month probation to certify him and approve him as a full-time Wintersville police officer. So motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion to accept him as a full-time police officer for Wintersville.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Dr. Ross?
Yay.
Mrs. Dameron?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yeah.
Thank you. Great job.
Okay, a couple other issues. You guys already gave me approval to start seeking bids. After getting multiple bids from multiple locations,
Chief,
I have this.
I don't mean to be mean here, but you have to hold off on that. Wait till we get the reports. I just wanted to bring him forward again.
Oh, okay.
All right, just have a seat. Next on the agenda is ordinances. Was there anyone else, though? Sorry. Seeing no one else would like to speak, we'll go to ordinances.
All right, our first ordinance of the year, it made it to February 2020-01, is an ordinance declaring that a 2011 Ford Flex VIN number 2FMHK D6DT1BBD10501 is no longer needed for any municipal purpose, and authorizing the sale of the said vehicle to the highest and best bidder in accordance with 721.15, the revised code. That's a first read. I don't know if we need to.
It can wait.
Okay,
All right, that's all? Thank you.
that's it for ordinances.
Reports and announcements, you'll see you have your police report before you. This will be for the month of January. You had 154 complaints, 272 incoming calls, 10 accidents, 15 cases, 17 alarm calls, 5 juvenile cases, 48 arrests, 6 other arrests, parking violations 11, vehicle impounds 3, out-of-town assistance 15, dog bites 1, auxiliary hours 61.5, canine uses 5. We have money collected from old fines in January for $934.37. You had a code enforcement report, 7 licenses for $450, 7 permits, $175 for a total of $625. I will be asking for an executive session toward the end of the meeting to go over a personnel matter for discipline and possible legal actions. We'll do that at the end. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Chief. Forward.
Okay, I'd like council's approval to go ahead and order a 2020 Ford F-150 from Team Ford for the price of just over $35,000. I researched, spoke with a lot of agencies who currently use that type of vehicle, and I think it'll be very beneficial for our department. And Team Ford was actually under state purchasing price. So I feel we're getting a very good deal on it.
Motion be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Dr. Ross?
Yay.
Mrs. Dameron?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yeah. Okay, second issue is, we have 2 vehicles down right now, possibly with transmission problems. Need council approval to move forward to getting it fixed for both vehicles. We're looking at a max of $7,000 for possible 2 new transmissions for 2 different vehicles. So that's gonna take a big hit out of my, vehicle repair fund, however, it's,
You'll have to find more revenue.
Absolutely.
Motion to be in order.
So move.
Second.
Comments, questions?
Question.
Yes.
What's years these vehicles?
One's a 2014 and the other one's a 2006.
Okay.
How many miles are on them?
I don't have that off the top of my
No,
head.
don't worry about it. I just making sure it wasn't a newer vehicle.
No, transmissions will be covered for what, 36 months? Is that correct?
36 months, 100,000 miles.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Dr. Ross?
Yay.
Mrs. Dameron?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Administrator.
Just a quick update on the Knowles water line report. All the water line is in, 6,400 linear feet, about 1.2 miles. The lines have been filled, they've been disinfected, bacteria test passed. The contractor and I talked to hold off doing the taps now and making the service connections. They would be digging up trenches in the road. The roads are already kind of rough, and more than likely, we're not going to be able to pave until May anyhow. And with the weather as wet as it's been, we just don't want to make those roads more of a mess. So he's going to get back on it in another month or so, and then hopefully when the plant's open, everybody can be hooked up, we'll get the paving done, and then that project will be completed. So that's why there's no work being done now. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions for administration?
He answered my question.
Seeing none, we'll move on. There is no unfinished business. New business, Mr. Merriman.
No new business, sir.
Mr. Mattern.
Well, what a night, huh? Steubenville shows up. That's really nice. A couple competent guys running for council committee, county commissioners. Very good. A common theme that we heard tonight is opportunity, teamwork, and, of course, development. When Mr. Morelli brought up, we had some meetings with Pat Ford many moons ago. That's what Mr. Ford drove in. You have to have a plan, and you have to then work the plan. And these companies that are ready to move on in here and attract jobs to this area, they all want a shovel-ready lot. They want a shovel-ready property. And that takes time to develop, that takes money to develop, and that takes effort to develop. And that's where Weirton, Brooke County, Hancock County got to jump on us, in all honesty. But we have the opportunity, we definitely have capable individuals who can do that, and we have the direct leadership in Steubenville as well to help bring this community up a little bit further. So good luck to all you guys, and what a night, I'm telling you, we haven't seen, and then Harrington makes a presence too, huh? Nice night.
Grand slam.
Yeah, thank you very much, that's it.
Ms. Dameron.
Thank you, everyone who has attended this evening. Bear with me, I don't have much of a voice left. I did want to say that it has come to my attention that there has been an ethics question raised regarding my husband's business and working on the village patrol cars. And I wanted to address this so that I am perfectly clear as to what is and isn't going to be permitted going forward.
Well, my understanding is, and this came to light this week, apparently, and I don't know if this is the place to discuss this or not. I guess my understanding is that your husband owns a auto repair business?
That is correct.
Okay, and the village previously has done business with him?
That is correct.
Okay, that needs to terminate because of your relationship now with the village being on
I
council?
understand that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
My question, though, to go further is that it has also come to my attention, and I've done some investigation, that there are other village employees who operate businesses that are doing business for the village. Is
And
that not a
should-
conflict of interest?
That should not be
A village
permitted.
employee.
A village
A
employee?
village employee who, yes.
Well, that should not be happening either. A village official or
He's not an official, he works for the village.
Well,
and
an
he's being
employee
paid to
or
do computer stuff. He's being hired to do our computer work.
That
He works for the village, he's an employee.
I'm
he's an
referring,
employee
I'm
and
referring
he-
to other employees who own businesses who are fulfilling
Yeah,
contracts.
an employee should not, I mean, you'll have to get me specifically your question in writing. I don't know enough about the details, but no employee of the village or official or employee should be making money from the village, and
Right.
that includes the employee. So I'm unaware of an employee making money or contracting, but that should not be being done either. That is a conflict of interest. That is also potentially what we call unlawful interest in a public contract,
Exactly.
which is a felony offense, or can be. And I would strongly suggest, and I would reiterate, that no employee or official should be doing business with this village and be compensated for that. Now, if you got a specific question that I don't know about, I was unaware of that, and I don't,
I
there's
apologize.
26, 27 employees, I don't know what each one of them is doing. But yeah, that's my general opinion is, and blanket opinion is that no village employee or official should be doing business with the village.
Okay, I
I'll
just
speak
wanted
to
to
you
make,
about what the village
Okay.
employees is doing later.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anything else?
no, sir, I'm sorry, thank you.
Mr. Jean Angel,
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Becker.
Nothing, sir.
Dr. Ross.
I'd like to thank the officials from Steubenville for attending tonight, and I want to wish both the candidates good luck, and I hope you have a good run. And Miss Littlejohn's suit looks really good. I gotta let you all know that right now. That's a nice suit, Miss Littlejohn.
Mr. Spence.
Again, I'd like to thank everybody for showing up. Don't be surprised if I come down Steubenville on a Tuesday night. And good luck to the candidates. And with regards to Ms. Dameron, was there a meeting that took place that decided that there was a problem with ethics?
No, why would there be a meeting? It's administrative. It's
Well-
administrative, and she would be held liable if we did business. So the administration stated we cannot do business with her husband's company.
Okay, I didn't know if there
It's
was a meeting or
administrative.
somewhere I missed along the
No,
line.
it's administrative. It's an administrative decision. Again, with discussion with our solicitor. Wasn't just made in a vacuum. Anything else?
That's it.
Mr. Martin?
Well, I'm going to first comment on all the do's and the don'ts and the rights and the wrongs. Some of this stuff, I don't know if anybody approached the mayor privately with this or a committee, you know, being the president of council, nobody approached me with any of these discussions. I think this discussion usually take place in committee. That's why we don't bring it to the floor to embarrass anybody or to air our dirty laundry in any kind of way. So if this take place next time, let's try to get with the mayor, the administrator, ask these questions so we don't have to take up the time in council to do that. And on the other hand, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, the mayor and the administrator for Steubenville, and our two candidates running for the office, our fire department chief out there, and our police chief, and our new guy we just put on for hire. I appreciate the news being here, the cover to give these guys a little bit of coverage. And other than that, I have really nothing too much more to say, Mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Dr. Ross?
Yay.
Mrs. Dameron?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
It was none.
Motion to go into executive session for personnel, possible disciplinary actions.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Dr. Ross?
Yay.
Mrs. Dameron?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Dr. Ross?
Yay.
Mrs. Dameron?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Motion adjourned till February 20th, 7 PM.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, meeting adjourned.